Hey, my loves. Okay, let's get a look. Oh, hey, look at that. There's some light on the subject. How's it going? Hey, so I thought maybe you guys would like to hear a little bit about what I have to say when it comes to dealing with a hubby who has an addiction. I know on the tag it says porn addiction, but really this is any kind of an addiction because any kind of an addiction can disrupt a home, family, life. It can disrupt your husband. Like, if you're married to one, you know what I mean, right? Um, Now, for those of you who are just barely meeting me, let me give you a little bit of background. My hubby and I have been married for almost 15 years. We've dealt with a pornography addiction for usually, for me, it was 10 of those years, and my husband, it was probably more like 25 years, if not more. Okay. Um, but that being said, I mean, that's just the background of how I know what I'm talking about. And one of the things I can tell you is that I healed from his from the effects that his addiction caused. One of those things that we call is betrayal trauma. Me healing from that betrayal trauma allowed him the ability to honestly heal from his addiction. And it was crazy cool. Crazy cool how that all played out and how that all happened. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what it's like when you're just sick and tired of dealing with your husband's addiction. What do you need to do? Like, what's the next step? And most people would tell you that your next step is divorce. Well, I'm going to tell you that with the statistics around 90, if not higher, percent of the population dealing with some sort of an addiction in your home, divorce isn't always the best option. Oftentimes you get right back into that same situation. Okay? However, deciding to divorce the addiction is an entirely different thing. See, I'm a God girl. I love God. And if I believe in God, you better believe I believe in an adversary. Okay? And one of the things that little bugger's trying to do is he's trying to drive a wedge between husbands and wives nowadays to disrupt the family. However, if we can take that wedge and place it between our husband and the addiction, because that's a relationship right there. If we can take that and just put it between our husband and the addiction and separate those two things, we have a much higher chance of divorcing that addiction. Okay? Because here's the deal. Your hubby's choices don't necessarily mean your consequences. When somebody decides to do something, they also have to accept the consequences that come with that action. If your husband's consequences are consistently hitting you, then there's a reason. And it comes down to fear. If you stop getting angry, you stop yelling and screaming at him, you stop turning a cold shoulder, you stop distancing yourself from him, does that mean that you have now jeopardized your safety? One of the biggest things we believe as women going through this kind of betrayal trauma is, yes, that does definitely jeopardize our safety, but I'm here to tell you it doesn't. As a matter of fact, letting your husband deal with his own addiction and the consequences from that is actually you ensuring your safety. And second question I hear you asking me, well, isn't divorce or distancing myself a consequence? No, because here's the thing, it hurts you in the process. When you are going for some sort of a boundary, you've got to find that win-win situation. And one of the best things I tell women who come to me in this kind of a situation is make sure you tell your husband straight up what's going on. How do you feel? If your husband, and I'm not talking about show him by flipping out, throwing a chair at him, which I may or may not have done. But instead of showing him how you feel, tell him how you feel. Tell him honestly what's going on with you and let him deal with that. Because that's honestly a consequence of the addiction. You having to tell him, you know what, babe? Your problem makes me feel insecure. It makes me feel afraid for our marriage. It makes me feel like I don't have any place in this marriage. It makes me feel like I'm not beautiful. And like you don't care about me. If you are very, very honest with where you are at, even if he gets angry, even if he starts throwing his hands up in the air and saying blah, 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 whatever he says, that's his deal. You've at least delivered the information you need to deliver. Most women are afraid of that kind of a reaction, but here's the deal. Your husband oftentimes is afraid to tell you what's really going on because he's afraid of your reaction too. And we're going to get into that more in the second video, which is going to be coming in a couple of weeks, okay? But let me tell you this right here and right now. If you are done with the addiction, let your hubby deal with his stuff. Let him deal with the consequences. And if you really, really just need to tell him something that you don't think he's going to listen to, allow God, tell it to God. I'm not even kidding. Tell it to God and ask him to deliver the message. Trust your husband in the hands of the Lord. Because there's nobody better to reach him than his maker. Okay, guys, if you guys would like to chat, let me know. Make sure you take advantage of the free PDF boundary that is in the comment section, and I will see you guys next time.